Marion Andrews, an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and angel communicator, and unshakable optimist. Marion Andrews is dedicated to helping you live a life full of joy and gratitude. Marion is a 4-stage colon cancer survivor. Though her journey has not been easy, with another metastatic cancer showing up last year after 5 years of cancer-free scans, she survives and thrives every day. Marion is a healer with a master's certification in Reiki and integrated energy therapy. These healing modalities are what help her through the difficult treatments and on to restored health. Each day she makes the choice to be grateful and thankful for all that has happened to her. And Marion will be later serving as one of our healers, so you have a chance to get some of her energy. Marion, dropping things on the floor.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you so much for inviting me. First, I have to tell you this little story that I have been working on my speech for, off and on for a while, and left it till this morning so that I could do the finishing touches. You know how you just have that word that's wrong or whatever. And I didn't print it before this morning. And when I pressed print on my printer at 11 o'clock this morning, my printer said, not in service. And then I pressed print again and it said, 2 documents waiting, not in service. I mean, I have printed all sorts of things in the past year, but the one thing I needed wasn't there. I called on Michael, the Archangel, said, fix my printer. He didn't show up today, right then. He's probably fixing it now, and when I get home, I'm gonna have like multitudes of speeches written. I tried a test page too, so I'm gonna have like 5 of that. You know how pressing the button many times might make it work? Well, so I'm going from a little note and trusting that Spirit and the angels will give me the words I need to say. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. As Dale had alluded to a few times, I am a stage 4 colon cancer survivor. Stage 5 is the really bad one that you don't ever want to hear about. But it started back in 2014, which is 9 years ago already. And when it first was discovered, it was at stage 3B, which meant that it just spread a little in my body to some lymph nodes close to where the original tumor was. So I went the route of surgery and chemo and all of those things because I checked with myself and that seemed to be the route that I needed to go. Plus, I really needed to think about spirituality. I had been, when I was younger, I'd been involved with many churches, looking always for the answers and looking for my purpose. And I couldn't ever get there. But all of a sudden, when you're faced with something that goes smack, you start to think about it even more. So in that period of doing that is when I first discovered the angels. Not that I hadn't known, I mean, I was raised with the Catholic angel prayer, angel of God, my guardian dear. But it was nothing real. It was just something you said, I wrote. So I started on this path of that. Now, after 1 year of the treatments, they give you a wonderful say, okay, bye, you're fine, see you next year. Yes. See you next year meant a CAT scan and a visit with the doctor, which said, we have cancer in a different place now. We're gonna have to treat that one. Okay, chemo worked before, we'll do it again. So another 12 treatments of chemo. Then, okay, you're fine, go home, be all right. Except I insisted on having CAT scans a little more frequently than once a year. And then we discovered again more tumors in a different place. I graduated to stage 4 at that point. So again, working really hard with the doctors and trying to do everything that I could possibly do to get this healed. Finally, in 2017, we did radiation on that spot, and yay, you're clear. The cancer's under control. We see nothing. Okay. I went along for 5 years, till April of 2022, last year, with clear scans. And every time I went, yay, another clear scan, I'm doing good. But, in that period of time, I took a lot of courses. I got very busy with clients in my healing business. I did courses and classes for on angels. I was working and I was busy. I was doing all these things. But when that news hit me last year, it was like, oh, wait, I already did this. I did all the cancer stuff. I even wrote the book to prove I did all of it. Like, what do you want? But I realized that it was a big wake up for me and a necessary one. I had become very complacent about my own spiritual practice. I'd become kind of just, while I was in treatment, I walked the labyrinth every Thursday before my Friday treatment. I had Reiki regularly. I did all sorts of classes and worked with the angels and meditated. They told me meditation helps. I did that. They said journaling helps. I did that. But then, you know how you can be going along and everything is good. So you forget about turning that card every morning. You forget about pulling the angels in. Except when I did classes, then I had to, bone back up on what I was going to be doing. It was also much more difficult last year to make the decisions because I was 8 years older. That makes chemo a little more difficult. And I was busy. I had my business to take care of. I had, people were waiting to have Reiki from me. People wanted to. Do you hear ego there? Well, I sat down and had some serious thinking to do. And I called in the angels that I work with the most, which was Michael, Raphael, and Uriel, and said, okay guys, I need to know what's going on here. Okay, well, it didn't take too long for me to realize, stop your business. I was comfortable to do that. I just needed to do that. I finished up some of the scheduled courses that I had, and I referred my clients to other healers that I knew and trusted, and I stopped. I turned my treatment therapy room, took the massage table out of it, bought a recliner, bought a day bed, set up an altar, and it became my healing room. And I needed it. I needed to go in there every day to meditate, to pray, to be alone with myself and my angels. And guess what? I got through all of that. We got through the 12 treatments, and then they said, there's still a little lymph node there that's a little iffy. Couldn't you do another 6? Oh, sure. Chemo's so fun. I don't mind. But I felt like I needed it. I knew from connecting spiritually that I did. So I went ahead, had those other treatments. They finished in March of this year. Then I needed a little surgery to go. It's really interesting how things are made for you. It's a whole new way of blasting cells that pinpoints exactly the cell they want to blast instead of a spray method. So they said, we want to go in and blast any of those cells we see hiding behind, because the cancer was wrapped around a vein. And we want to do that. Okay, had the surgery in May. Guess what? July, I had a PET scan which shows cancer in any part of your body. And there was none. None. I'm done. But I really had to change everything for last year. I had to change my mind. You've probably heard this before, but I had heard it and forgot it, is that healing is always spiritual first. We get the disease in our body and we think, oh, it's physical. But the disease is physical, but the healing has to be spiritual and emotional before the physical can heal. And that made me really get busy with doing my journal every day, doing my meditation every day, pulling a card every day to make sure that I was in that mode. One of the things, this always gets me this part, is you need to have a routine about this. Now, I hate routines. But then I finally, it came to me, is the routine I hate is the one that says you have to have meatloaf every Monday night for supper, you know, or you have to do your laundry every Tuesday and don't miss because you might run out of clothes by the next Friday, but you can't do laundry on Friday, it's a Tuesday job. So then when I realized that that was what I didn't like about routines, and I remembered that having a routine helped me so much in the first 3 years of this journey. I went back and started my morning routine. I invoke the angels before I even get out of bed. I call on Michael, say, I need your blue shield. I need it all around me and all around the house. And thank you so much for always being there for me. My feet don't even have to touch the ground. I figure I need them, so call them in. I also do Reiki on myself morning and night. I journal every single day. I have a gratitude journal, and I meditate. You know, I don't know if you've meditated very much. If you haven't, you might want to think about it, because I had never meditated before this whole journey. And I thought it always meant, you know, you had to be this yogi and sit with your legs crossed and by the time I get into that position, I wasn't prepared to meditate. You know, it was like, no. So I did a lot of research. I found some apps on the phones that you can do that are guided meditation, and I started with that. The first while I was doing like 2 minutes, and then I'd pop up. But no, sit back down, turn it back on, try it again. I worked up to 5 minutes. That's a long time when you have never meditated. But then I settled on 10 to 20. 10 if I'm in a rush, 20 I can't live without. Now meditation can be done sitting, laying, walking. We do a moving meditation in Reiki that involves, you know, arms and all sorts of things. So I had to change my mind about that practice to be able to accept it for me. Now, I have no idea what time I started. How am I doing?
Good.
Good. Okay.
1:25.
What time did I start? All right. You're fine. That's okay.
Keep going.
Keep going. All right. One of the other things that I had to do last year was accept Reiki and other healing modalities from friends who wanted to give. Now, being the giver, that was really difficult. I'm taking care of myself. Don't be bothering me with your stuff. But that's not fair. Not fair to me, and not fair to them. Ginny and Daryl came over to give me healing. many times. Sharon gave me healing, and it was like I could phone Sharon or text her and say, I'm having this right now, and she would write back, Reiki sent, you know. That's a gift to me, but it also is a gift to them. You know how you want to help somebody who's ill and you can't figure out what to do? Send them healing. It is the most wonderful gift I received. And that takes a little work to do, but you can get there. I got there, so you can get there to accepting it. The other thing I spent most of my life looking for was my purpose. And I finally got such a vision of it when I was meditating that it's just written in my heart. My purpose is to help others healing and for spiritual growth. That's it. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be one person that you smiled at in the store and you helped them heal a little that day. You know, I wanted a grandiose purpose, like, let's do it big if we're gonna do it. Not necessary. And probably not good for me either. Oh, ego again. Don't you love it? It's always showing up. So, I am so privileged and so grateful every single day. The whole experience for the last 9 years has really given me my purpose. It has given me such joy. And I am able to serve others by talking with them, by teaching. That is such a privilege. I have an angel class coming up in January that I've been working on, and the angels have been giving me the material. It's wonderful. It's just like I'm sitting down and think, oh, I should say this. But then as I start to write it, darn it anyway, Gabriel changes it. So it's just such a wonderful experience to go through something hard and come out okay. Now, if I hadn't come out okay, I'd be on the other side having a great time. All right, so what's the difference? What? Don't walk into the thing. All right. So the whole purpose of this whole month, did you know November is National Gratitude Month? So there you go. It is, you have a whole month to think about it. And one of the things I did before was every day I wrote a little note and hung it on some things like this every day in November. And so I pulled those out this month and read them and thought, okay, I'm still grateful for that. Or that got renewed, that got changed. So there are many ways that you can bring gratitude into your life. And I just want to leave you with 3 little steps. The first is a gratitude journal. Whether you write 1 line, or I like to write 3 lines, but have something where you write it every day. I do mine at night. I figure that's the best time to think about what I'm grateful for. The second thing is be in touch with your angels, using cards, using prayer, communication. Do something to get in touch with the angels. And you can be as blunt as I am with them, believe me. I mean, they don't give me any like wishy-washy symbols because I don't get them. I need like, boom. Except I'm asking, please, could I just break a fingernail if you need my attention again? I don't want to have cancer again. It's okay. The third thing that I really recommend is meditation. So journaling, work with your angels, meditation. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.